Question 1b, the general expression question, which in this instance has 4 marks available for it. So that is a clue that there are perhaps 4 separate parts to calculating this general expression. Let's read it through first. Employees earn days of holiday based on how long they have worked at P cubed. For the first 2 years, employees get 10 days holiday each year. Now that means that in year 1 you get 10 days holiday, and in year 2 you get 10 days holiday. Some of you made the mistake of thinking it was 10 days in year 1 and 20 days in year 2, but it's not. It's a basic entitlement for your first 2 years. In subsequent years, employees get an additional half a day holiday for each year worked. The employee record has a variable called start year. Construct a general expression to calculate the total number of days of holiday earned by an employee for this year who has worked for P cubed for more than 2 years. So, input, output, what's the process? The general expression is the process, so we need to identify both the output and the input. The output's fairly straightforward because that's what they're asking us to calculate. So, total days holiday. You don't actually have to write that particularly, but I'm just showing you how you might approach this question in terms of your outputs, your inputs and processing. Slow yourself down, you're more likely to hit the points. So we know what our output is. So what's our input? What do we need to know? Well, the days of holiday are based on how long the employee has worked at P cubed. However, that information isn't specifically given here because it's a general expression and people will have worked for different lengths of time. But this third bullet point is there for a reason. All the exam board's information is there for a reason. So there's a variable called start year. So we can work out how long the employee has worked. Because we can take the current year, which will be known obviously, and we can take away the start year. Okay, so again, you have to show how you've worked out years work. You don't necessarily need an extra variable, but taking it in steps may very well help. So now we're at the point where we've got our inputs, and we're going to look at how we can work it out. So we are going to have to take 2 away from the years worked, and many of you missed that step out actually. That's because we are only getting our additional half a day, our additional half a day minus 2 multiply, we're only getting our additional half a day for the years subsequent, the following years following the first 2 years. So just take this back and put another bracket in here, and then we are going to add our 10 days basic entitlement. So if you want to check this, they're not giving you test data, but we can think of some test data, see if we've got this if an employee started work in 2008, it would mean they have 10 years work history in the year 2018. So years worked, current year 2018, take away start year 2008 will give us years worked of 10. Years worked 10 minus 2, 10 minus 2 gives us 8. Multiply that by 0.5 will give us 4, then we add 10. And the answer then would be 14. So total days holiday would equal 14. You can then ask yourself, is that sensible? Does that sound about right? Well, it's certainly more than 10, and we're getting half a day's holiday for those other 8. Yes, that's correct. So if I show you the mark scheme, you'll see that where you get your points. Here you go. So there's an example. They actually added the 10 first. Current year minus start year, so didn't have a separate variable for years worked, but that's not a problem. There's the 2 coming off, and there's the multiplication by 0.5. But here we can see how you got your marks. So you get 1 mark for showing the length of employment. So if you had done it like I did it, which was create a variable for it, that's absolutely fine. You're going to get a mark. Taking 2 off for the first 2 years, you get a mark. Multiplying the rest by 0.5 is a mark, and then adding in the 10 days is a mark. So you can still go wrong and still pick up 2 or 3 marks. So these questions are never ones that you should just skip past. They're always ones that you should think about and have a go.